OnlyFans is destroying society by Upper Echelon. I watch Upper Echelon here and there quite often, so that's pretty neat. Anyways, let's go into this.
Okay, let me get something out of the way here right at the start. The statement OnlyFans is destroying society is not a brave thing to say. It's not even an unexpected thing to say.
Yeah, it's not a brave thing. What I think, what I think, what I think is more. It's not. It's not. The reason. It is a symptom of what's going on currently. It's a symptom.
I'm pretty sure deep down, any reasonable person already understands that a platform like this gaining widespread adoption is universally a bad thing. But after a recent development came across my feed, namely a lawsuit against OnlyFans.
Ooh, wait, there's a lawsuit against OnlyFans going on? What is going on? Interesting.
I want to try and provide a data-driven argument for why OnlyFans as a platform is quite literally destroying the fabric of modern society across multiple separate social dimensions. I'll start with this background. OnlyFans, a subscription membership platform that almost exclusively caters.
There's bros paying for parasocial relationship with corn stars. You have with online prostitutes. You have to like this is insane, right? This is insane. How? This is like crazy VTuber fans, but for corn. Le booty. Probably underage. There's 100% underage creators on there. They just tried to hide it. 100%.
Caters to adult content, was officially created in 2016 as a subsidiary of Phoenix International Limited. Now, at first, the platform was relatively unknown. From 2016 to 2019, the website amassed a mere 300,000 creators, and by creators, I mean mostly women posting explicit content for money. However, in 2020, possibly as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, OnlyFans began witnessing unprecedented user growth.
In addition to that, I find it funny. Women found this website, some women found this website, and decided, le corn. I'm gonna upload me naked. Wonder if there's a male version of OF named Broly fans. Oh no, not the naked Z Broly meme. Men post on OnlyFans? Yep, but it's mostly. It's not straight men, it's gay men. Straight men are probably a big minority. It is probably mostly gay dudes, I would assume. I would assume. I remember this one guy, he made one with his dad. Don't ask further. Sweet home, Papa Bama. Good God. So there's Broly fans. Depends on what Broly fans you mean. It is crazy. It is crazy.
Growth to the tune of millions. In just 1 year, the platform gained something like 1.3 million new creators, and from 2020 through 2023, which is the latest year that we have official figures from, the platform would go on to amass over 4.1 million users. I should be clear, when I say 4.1 million users, I mean creators. When we talk about subscribers to the platform, the number is more like 350 million.
And I've heard numbers from others, from like clips and stuff, of from these 4 million, 1.4 million women are from the United States. You should make an OnlyFans with your quails, but just show them running around being animals. I should make like a life cam, like a stream. Stuff like that.
But for right now, I want to focus on the creator side of things. 4.1 million different creators, and that's 2023. If you continue the previous growth rate here in 2025, that number is more like 5 to 6 million creators or thereabouts. But focusing on the figures that we actually have, which is understating the problem by a pretty hefty margin, to be crystal clear on that, of those 4.1 million, according to GitNux, 84% were female with an average age of 29 years old. Here's the thing. This is where we have to do a little bit of guessing.
Where did we drift? What happened between 2010 and like 2020 in that realm where that became a thing? It can only be the radical sexualization, especially of younger age groups. It has to be almost 350 million paying for Corin. Nah. Apparently there are, and let's face it, this is mostly dudes. This is not women paying for this.
Guesswork, or maybe estimation is a better word for it, but I'll show the logic every single step of the way, and the results kind of speak for themselves. The overwhelming majority of revenue from OnlyFans goes to the United States. I'm talking over 2/3 of all revenue that the platform ever processes coming from or going to.
Yeah, so the 1.4 million users from the United States makes absolute sense. For 1.4 million creators, it makes sense. Mathematically, it makes sense if the majority goes there. Absolutely.
To the United States. And if we extrapolate that to the broader creator market, we can estimate roughly 2.7 million total creators in the US. Well, knowing that 84% of OnlyFans creators, roughly speaking, are female, that would mean about 2.2 million creators averaging 29 years of age who are not just using, but selling services on OnlyFans. Pretty high number, but
girls, you can potentially gonna fuck over your entire future. Come here and kiss me on my hot mouth, Dad. I'm feeling romantical. Good God, man. Good God. Wokeness, feminism. I mean, feminism probably is a major driving point for certainly, because we have like pushed this weird idea of be a whore makes you empowered, and I'm like, it's not gonna empower your reputation, that's for sure. Men are the main one paying for it and keeping it a business. It's definitely not woke. Yeah, it's not wokeness, that's for sure. It's more like a societal push. It's just over sexualization, in my opinion. I think it's just over sexualization. I think that's the main reason. Men, women, everything.
Let me just put this in perspective. Remember, these are old figures that we're using. The numbers have more than likely increased in the time since 2023 substantially. But if you then compare that figure to the US labor market, it becomes honestly terrifying. According to the US Department of Labor, specifically the Women's Bureau, the most common professions occupied by women in America from 1 to 5 are registered nurse, elementary and middle school teacher, managers, customer service representative, and secretary. By far the largest number is registered nurses, with roughly 2.2 million, which would make OnlyFans a comparable number now to the most common female career in the.
Ayo, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm never finding a wife. It is what it is. It is over. Because what eventually starts in the United States swaps over to Europe. What? I'm gonna build a wall. I'm gonna build a wall, dip it in gold, and make the Americans pay for it. We're also separating the internet. You get your own internet, your own Twitter, your own YouTube, your own everything. I'm done. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? What is this? What is that means OF is number 2, almost number 2, number 3. What the fuck? That's so sad, honestly. They reached a point where it's normal for so many people to be a hoe, but didn't he admit his fault? He acknowledged his mistake and never repeated it. That's honestly good enough. Oh yeah, with Dr. Mike. Also, okay, yeah, that has nothing to do with it. The corn industry is a disgusting and abusive industry. You should not watch corn. It ruins your brain. Yes. And I'm proud to say that I haven't watched such stuff for years. Men are easily exploited through inborn natural desires they're never taught to keep in check. That is true. Meanwhile, women are often encouraged to use their bodies to make money, and at the top are the men exploiting everyone. Yep. And women. Remember, OnlyFans is run by a woman. OnlyFans is run by a woman. I'm gonna overthrow Poker. The power is getting into his head. I'm using my power for good at this point. Just pick Asians, Poker. They will love you, but they beat the shit out of you and love you back. Yeah, I'm picking Asians. 100%.
The entire United States. That's already horrifying on its face, especially when you think about the fact that over the span of just 3 years, according to the stats that we currently have, an explicit adult platform managed to amass a creator market that would make it rival the most common career in the country for young women.
This is diabolical. This is diabolical, actually. That means, as a I can't even call it a career. It's just, in fact, it's actually just prostitution. That means OF can compete with nurses and teachers. There are more women out there, or not more women, but there is a fairly close amount of women that would rather sell their bodies than would want to teach the next generation of young people. That is insane. That is insane to me. Asian women will give you the snoo. I'm sorry, but no one is encouraging women to be whores online. It's their choice. They want to be one, hence they'll be one. Well, there is certainly an incentive. There is certainly, I would say there is an encouragement, and it also comes from a lot of degenerate men who are literally spawn camping on girls turning 18, so they start in OF. I would actually say, and there are incentives given by these OF women who show off how much money they made, which obviously is an illusion. The vast majority of money comes from like the top 1%, and not from like Elizabeth, who's a little short on money and just decided I'm gonna make an OF account. Except for parents who were former corn actresses. I mean, even former corn actresses say no. There's plenty of corn actresses who said no, who stopped. The men encouraging women to sell their bodies are the same ones that will sit there and degrade them for showing them. True, true. Some of them, at least, I would say yes. Like, everything is a choice. They made their own choices. No one forced them to choose this life. But you are susceptible to the influences of others. You are susceptible to the group you are part of. If you surround yourself with thieves, the peer pressure will eventually get to you to become a thief. It's all just like the people that you surround yourself with. Nobody said forced. More like an incentive is given, or pressure.
But it gets exponentially worse, because according to the American Association of Colleges of Nurses, the median age of a registered nurse is 46 years old. Remember, OnlyFans creators average 29 years of age, and most analytic pages don't even estimate or track the number of creators who are in excess of 40 years old because it's so low. These figures hold true across other careers as well, with 60% of teachers, for example, averaging 40 plus years old. And this means that the US Department of Labor figures don't actually match.
Damn. That's crazy. But it's also you who show. Yeah. Obviously, you shouldn't give into the peer pressure. I'm not saying that like the responsibility is gone, but there is a certain incentive to do that. Same with men who got caught up with Andrew Tate. Yep. Absolutely. And this is all just because nobody was there to pick them up. There's like huge problems. Men have their own problems. Because I feel like I don't consider, for example, Andrew Tate to be a good role model of masculinity. We have a huge problem with boys not having good masculine role models. That thing is through. Some people simply don't know any better and don't have good parenting correctly. There is nobody to pick them up.
Instead of 1.7 million female elementary and middle school teachers in a comparable age bracket, the number is more like 700,000. Call it a million if you want to, round up substantially. Doesn't change the fact that you are 2 times more likely to meet someone who does OnlyFans than you are to meet a teacher.
That is nuts. That is nuts. That means you're. That is crazy. You are more likely to find an OF chick than a teacher. Huh? This is not normal. That is not normal.
Selling sexual content of yourself online, if it were an actual career path in the United States, which it's not, because of the extreme income stratification on OnlyFans and a variety of other revenue statistics, which is a separate problem that I'll talk about in just a minute here. Don't worry.
The average woman on OF gets like $180 a month. That's it. It's not really worth it. At the end of the day, yes, it is their fault, but they have fallen victim to the system. There's tons of pressure from a lot of different things that could have led them doing something like that. Correctly. That is very correct.
If it were an actual career, instead of a hollow, deceptive, and manipulative money-making, quote, opportunity, unquote, which more than likely yields pennies in return, if it were, it would be the most common career by far already in the entire United States for young women, and it's not even close. Time for a disclaimer, okay? A big disclaimer. I am not trying to shame anyone. Empowerment, freedom, yada yada, don't stress, I understand. But the idea of OnlyFans as some sort of incredible financial vehicle is a verifiable myth. It turns out that as the number of total creators rises, as the revenue for the platform goes parabolic, the actual average amount of earnings for creators using the platform is going down. Matthew Ball has a really good analytical piece about a lot of these different financials and figures. He runs an investment and
OnlyFans accounts for 4.1 million creators, grossing an average of 1,750 annually from 300 million registered users, spending an average of $24 annually. That means practically, if you are on the lower end, you make nothing. You just make nothing. You make essentially nothing on that platform. Almost.
Strategic advisory service. I've referenced his data before, actually, in other videos, so you'll see graphics with his watermark here, and I'll link his website down below. But the point is, while the total number of creators has roughly doubled from 2 million to 4 million across 2021, 2022, and 2023, right? Just a couple of years, the average amount that those creators make dropped by about 30%. The amount of money that an average OnlyFans creator will earn is less than $2,000 annually, but those earnings come with every single integrated downside along with them. The fact of the matter is, selling yourself on OnlyFans can have negative implications for relationships. You can argue that
I wouldn't date anybody. Like, even if they were actually a virgin, right? I wouldn't date them. Hell no. I wouldn't date somebody like that. I would run for the hills. The moment you mention that you have that, I'd be the Flash. I'd be fast as fuck. Kids are a trap. Nah, I want children. I want boys and girls, and I want a wife, and like I want to, come home and my kids and my wife just wait at the door for me. It's an illusion. I am delusional, but please let a man dream.
shouldn't carry those risks, and I wouldn't fault anyone for doing so, but the reality is it does. Selling yourself on OnlyFans carries downside risk for existing and future children. relationships, career prospects, and most of all, privacy. Of course, it's not unique in that way. Plenty of other careers and money making opportunities do as well. But there's an atmosphere circulating that OnlyFans is somehow cheating the system with enormous financial upside potential. Here's an example story right here about a number of teachers losing their jobs because the school discovered their OnlyFans pages. And if the platform really offered what people think it does, millions.
To be fair, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't hire a teacher with that as well. Like, I wouldn't hire one. Simply because I need you to be a role model. I need you to be a role model for the future generations, and I don't think that you serve that. Just like I wouldn't hire a criminal, just like I wouldn't hire somebody who does drugs, I wouldn't do that. Even if it only affected them, I wouldn't do that.
Millions of dollars in total personal freedom, the risk would be possibly understandable. However, it doesn't. Odds are anyone using it will make less than $200 a month, while risking a multitude of social pitfalls as a direct result of it. Of course, there are cases of creators making millions. Established influencers, celebrities, and other famous personalities are the most common examples. But even on the OnlyFans website, it states directly that just 3,000 creators have earned over $1 million total.
Just 3,000. 3,000 out of probably 6 million, if we're being honest. If we're being honest.
The real possibility of that success is obviously how the perception continues. But the creators earning these kinds of figures aren't everyday people. They're famous beforehand. Their entire career before using the platform was in the public eye. And the result is that they're able to monetize in a way that a random 19-year-old girl fresh out of high school is not capable of doing. Hammering this point home with the actual data, the top 10% of accounts on OnlyFans collect 73% of all the revenue, which leaves the bottom 90% of creators, 9 out of every 10 people using the platform, expecting to get financial freedom, to fight over just 27% of the funds. And those figures are getting substantially worse every single passing day. Hopefully everyone can see why this is a bad thing, but let me switch gears now and talk about subscribers to the platform. Recently, as in March of 2025, a lawsuit has been filed against OnlyFans.
So pretty much what we're having here is we will have a generation of women that are pretty much selling their body online while making absolutely nothing, is what we're getting here.
By 2 men, alleging that while talking to women who they were subscribed to on the platform, they weren't actually talking to those women, they were talking to an agency. Now, a lot of people may have no sympathy for these men. They should.
Imagine you're like the greatest gooner on the planet and you talk to these people, and then on the other side it's just a dude listening to your degenerate messages. That would be so embarrassing. That would be so embarrassing.
Should have known, who cares, what does it matter, etc., etc. But bear with me, because that's actually a cornerstone of the OnlyFans marketing technique. Authentic relationships or personal experience. That's the type of language that they use. But reality is a very different creature. See, rather than talking to a popular creator on the platform, subscribers are far more likely to be talking to someone at a specialized agency, such as ofagency.co. There's many of them, this is just one example. According to Amir Kamal,
Like I said, imagine thinking you are talking to a chick, but on the other side it's actually just the dude reading your disgusting messages. Oh god, I would be so embarrassed.
who founded the company, creators can make upwards of 50 or 60% of their entire revenue stream from these direct messages. But instead of actually doing it themselves, no, they hire someone, some guy across the world. This is subjectively kind of funny. People subscribe to a model, they think that they're talking.
Yeah, and then they're talking to a dude from Pakistan or India.
Talking to her directly, and instead it's some random guy in Pakistan. But if you start connecting some of the dots, it gets a whole lot more sinister very quickly. It's actually not just human operators and third-party agencies. No, it's also AI chatbots. There's a bunch of them, each with their own unique spin or differing levels of automation in tow. But I want to read a segment from Vice News, an article in 2024, which outlines the problem very well. Quote, "Many creators are enthusiastic about these AI tools. Eden, a former OnlyFans creator who now runs a talent agency, is an avid user of super
Now it's not. Now it's no longer disgust. Now it's no longer a dude listening to you. Now it's a AI. It is so over, bros. What happened to masculinity? We need to save these men somehow.
creators AI, claiming that it has significantly boosted sales by helping creators target their most lucrative fans. The AI's ability to scan for inactive users and automatically initiate conversations has led to impressive results, such as a $1,000 tip sparked by an AI generated message. However, Eden emphasizes that creators should still personalize the interaction using AI generated content as a starting point rather than fully automating the process.
So now, if you get texted over OF through OF, it might be the AI talking to you. AI girlfriends, pretty much, in some way. AI whores is more accurate. John occupation talking to gooners for online women. Sounds like a good job. Might need to do that.
End quote. That's already a little bit strange, targeting their most lucrative fans, language, and
Well, the people that pay the most, obviously. It's obviously the people that would pay the most. That just makes sense. It's obviously those.
rhetoric like that. But we also have to remember that none of this is happening in a vacuum. It may seem unrelated, although it's definitely not, but something that vocal AI critics have been warning about, myself included, even something that fans of AI have acknowledged openly as well, is that long before general artificial intelligence is ever achieved, something called superhuman persuasion will become possible. In simple terms, even if a large language model isn't actually sentient at all, it will still be able to persuade people, especially vulnerable or lonely people, which is the precise demographic that we're talking about here, to think and act in a certain way
Damn, they're targeting me, chat. I'm so cooked. They're targeting me.
as a result of its programming, beyond the capability of an average person. That may sound like some sort of dystopian sci fi novel, but it's a lot closer than people may think, and the applications for that kind of persuasion are almost infinite. Everything from what we're talking about today, OnlyFans, all the way to politics. Well, knowing that OnlyFans and top OnlyFans creators are now using AI chatbots actively to target their most lucrative fans, with substantial results given as anecdotal examples in the Vice article, let's look at the actual revenue figures. From 2021 to 2023, the same years in which the average amount that OnlyFans creators were making dramatically decreased, by the way, while the total number of creators on the platform doubled. From 2021 to 2023, the source of revenue for
It is actually quite simple. It's oversaturated. It is just over. It's very simple. It's oversaturated.
OnlyFans also changed. Recurrent subscription revenue remained pretty much exactly the same. It actually went down as a percentage of overall revenue in that time frame, but one-off payments substantially increased. To be clear, one-off payments means something like a $1,000 tip, by the way, from a lucrative fan that was identified and targeted by a chatbot. Sound familiar? Basically, this just means that the type of revenue that is elicited from using chatbots and third party agencies and people using direct messages is the type of revenue that's increasing, whereas subscription revenue isn't increasing. So one of them is dramatically going up and the other one is remaining stagnant, which means it's coming from somewhere. Let's do a bird's eye view. The number of creators using
Wait, that didn't quite hit. I didn't quite get that.
chatbots and third party agencies and people using direct messages is the type of revenue that's increasing.
So people are practically paying to talk to these chatbots instead, is what it is. Okay, it's basically a corn story app. That is so weird, where you can chat with AI version of characters. Oh god. Touch grass! Find a woman! Or a man! Or whatever you are into! Find some, if you are into, I don't know, latex boots, find some latex boots instead.
Increasing, whereas subscription revenue isn't increasing. So one of them is dramatically going up and the other one is remaining stagnant, which means it's coming from somewhere. Let's do a bird's eye view. The number of creators using OnlyFans is going up, right? Substantially and constantly. Meanwhile, the amount of money that 90+% of them actually make is going down dramatically and consistently. At the same time, the creators who are making money are utilizing heavily third party agencies and AI chat tools to identify and target their lucrative fans, extracting increasingly larger sums of money through fake personal interactions, meaning that more and more men are paying more and more money under the persuasion of AI tools and third party agencies, while they think they're talking to a tiny subset of attractive women, when in fact they're not doing so, resulting in measurable harm at every single stage of the process for.
She does. I know she produces corn, but she talks to me. I'm special. I wonder if that's the mindset of these dudes. I really wonder if that's the mindset of these men.
For everyone. Creators signing up for the platform are harmed because the impression of limitless financial freedom is a verifiable lie. Meanwhile, they onboard all of the potential risks with rapidly decreasing financial prospects in tandem. Subscribers are harmed because not only are they being targeted and potentially manipulated every day by people working for companies across the planet, pretending to be a woman that they're attracted to, but they are also at risk of being subjected to AI persuasion programs, which are obviously working quite well, else the revenue figures wouldn't be changing the way that they have been changing. And all of it, over the span of just a few years, is metastasizing like a malignant cancer. It feels like we're speedrunning the fall of decent civilization. And I understand that a YouTube video titled OnlyFans is Destroying Society can be perceived as completely hyperbolic, all right? Or extreme, or
It's not OF is not the reason. It is more so a symptom of what's going on. And I think that the symptom is a radical is degenerization even a word? A radical degenerization of society. We are sexualizing oftentimes, well, we are sexualizing actually just younger people, younger and younger and younger because they have access to the internet, and parents don't properly supervise their children, and then you have younger and younger boys getting into corn addiction even through YouTube. Kids, for example. I think the main problem is that we're, yeah, getting more accepting of more and more degenerate stuff.
indefensibly outlandish. But I genuinely believe that more than almost any other platform I've ever researched, except maybe TikTok, it really is doing damage. Early in the video, I said multiple separate social dimensions, whatever that means. And now, after detailing my argument fully, I would assert that those social dimensions are trust, privacy, stability, and honestly, dignity. I won't sit here and claim some sort of moral high ground on a personal level, don't worry. But if you look at the situation in context, especially considering how fast the platform is growing every day and the trajectories of revenue, where that revenue comes from, how many creators are truly benefiting, etc. If I look at everything in context, it's difficult for me to see this platform as anything other than evil. In the end, the downside risk of using OnlyFans as both a creator and subscriber seem to be dramatically outweighing any potential benefit, because the benefit is static. It doesn't change. Actually, the benefit is going down for creators, but the risk and potential negative ramifications are just consistently expanding with every passing day. As per the title of the video, OnlyFans is destroying Western society.
It is. It is. Don't. I can't say much except don't. Just don't. Just don't. Don't watch it. Don't give money to these people. Don't consume any other corn. There's not much really to say. There's not really much to say.
That's it. If you want to support the video and projects like these, please do consider using Locals and Patreon for monthly memberships. Also a special VPN deal linked down below, big discount, merchandise, social media, etc., etc. But I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything. Thank you for putting up with my sick voice. It's yet to go away over the past few days, but yeah, that's it. Have a nice night.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that he sounded sick. He sounded as normal as usual, actually. Anyways, we got through this video, and I must admit, we might actually be cooked. We might actually be cooked. For real, for real. Not gonna lie. Me might actually be screwed if this continues. If it's actually more popular to being a teacher and comparable to being a nurse, we are actually cooked. Like, we are actually fucked.